Hey everybody, welcome back to Collector's Haven. I'm Mike Pingel, your host, and today we are going across international waters to Australia with Jim, who is a huge David Cassidy collector, Partridge Family collector, all things 70s, 80s pop culture, Charlie's Angels. I know nothing about those people. But anyway, Jim, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Mike. I'm so happy to be here and to share some of my collectibles with you today.
Yes, you sent me some photos and I'm already just waiting to um to see them. But I do want to say off the top, I was more Sean Cassidy fan
Oh,
than
that's fair
David.
enough. I was a fan too.
Although there goes my face. Look, boom,
Love
boom,
it. Love it.
boom.
Love it.
Yes, the half brother, I believe they're half brothers. I
Yes, they are. Yeah, and I love the Hardy Boys too. So, and Hardy Boys was quite huge in Australia too back in the 70s. Absolutely.
It was, and because I was reading the book trying to figure out, and there's no pictures of David in here. I
Yeah,
know.
that
His
explain that one.
Patrick and I think Ryan is his other brother is in there,
Yes,
but
correct. Correct.
his mother is, but no.
So today it's all David Cassidy and the Partridge
Just
Family.
David, just David. Okay,
Just
so tell me how your love affair with the Partridge Family and David came about.
I was always a fan growing up. Obviously, television here was black and white from 1970 to about 1974. So there you go. I bet you didn't know that. So color didn't come into the picture till 1975 here. So you can imagine I was watching all the reruns for the Partridge Family and literally everything else in color, which was really, really cool. But I do remember my cousin's bedroom full of David Cassidy posters and seeing some of his records. But it all started for me in the very early 80s in probably 1981, 82. My cousin went into town and she went to a secondhand record store called Batman Records. There you go. It doesn't exist anymore. But she actually found David's Cherish album. And she said, let's listen to this. I said, you know what? Let's listen to it. It's got some great pictures at the back. Um, as soon as I heard him sing, that was the end for me. I thought, oh my God, what an amazing voice. And then I think from then onwards, I must have called every second-hand record store in Melbourne, and I'm not kidding, I really did. Trying to find anything that I could find on David and the Partridge Family. And I was lucky enough to find quite a few things. And that's how kind of my love affair and my passion started for collecting. I mean, I was always a collector growing up. I think my first doll I've ever had was the $6 Million Man doll, which I still have, as well as the Bionic Woman. So, t TV toys were just hugely popular kind of all over the world, including
Yeah.
Australia too. So I had no idea with the Partridge Family the amount of merchandise that came out, including David Cassidy. It was like a very short period of time from about end of 1970 to about end of 74, let's say 1975. David Cassidy was one of the greatest probably teen idols that's ever been. He had a bigger fan club than Elvis and the Beatles back then, and that's a known fact.
Wow.
So the interest for David was like huge in those days back then, and it's still huge today. There's a lot of us fans left. There might not be millions of fans left, but there's thousands of fans left all over the world, and that's, I guess, with any artist today from the past, if you know what I mean. So that's kind of
Absolutely.
where I started.
Absolutely. So that record was your first taste of David. Um,
Absolutely.
and then did it just start growing? Did you just start buying things? I mean,
Yeah. Well, don't forget back then we didn't have eBay.
oh, I know.
Yeah. So it was really hard to find anything really, but we used to have record shows here, like I'm sure in America they did too. So I would go to all these record fairs. Do you have anything on the Partridge Family? Do you have anything on David Cassidy? Actually, we do. And I'd start looking and I thought, right, I want it, I want it, I want it. So that's how it kind of started. And then I was also looking at a magazine called Gold Mine, which I'm sure you might be familiar with, the American one.
It
We
was
used to
toy,
get.
I think it was Toy Shop here, at least
Oh,
like,
okay. But there was also a record one
oh,
like that too. So it was an American publication. So I used to kind of get that too. And every now and again I'd go looking through it, and there would be some people who would have magazines. They would have records, and I would think I had to write to them. I had to physically call them, make an international phone call, just to see are these still available. And I remember many years ago, the early 80s, I was trying to find the Tiger Beat official Partridge Family magazines. Now I think I found two issues. Um, they weren't in the best condition, unfortunately. Of course, I wasn't told that.
Oh, of
Um,
course, of course.
I ordered them, and I think it cost me well over $100. And we're talking early 80s, which was a lot of money back then. And when I did receive them, most of the pin-ups and posters were all taken out. So I was pretty disappointed, to be honest with you. But then that's how I just started collecting, going to a lot of secondhand stores, going to record fairs, just even asking people. I mean, I remember starting my first job, and I must have mentioned to one woman I was a huge David Cassidy fan, and she said, "Do you know what? I've still got probably some of my scrapbooks left. If I find them, I will give them to you." Of course, it didn't happen, so I was quite disappointed.
Oh
I
no.
think it must have been thrown out by mistake, but I guess we've heard those kind of stories from a lot of people back then who used to collect things, and a lot of people just didn't keep things because they just thought, well, is this going to mean anything in 20 years from now, or 30, 40 years from now, 50 years from now? Is it going to really mean anything? But actually, it does mean something to us. So that's kind of how the whole love affair started, Mike, with the whole collecting. And it's become almost like an obsession. Isn't it a terrible thing to admit?
No,
But
it
it is.
is not an obsession. You are passionate
Yeah.
with what you love, and I love it. So, in hand with David, did that turn into the love of the Partridge Family? And when did all the other pop culture things kind of fall into your collecting world?
The pop culture things, I reckon, as I said, started from an early age because I had the Bionic Woman doll, the $6 Million Man doll. I think my sister and I also had the original Wonder Woman doll because Wonder Woman was huge here too. And my grandma was a bit of a hoarder in those days. So I guess I'm a bit of a hoarder too, really, when it came to those kind of pop culture things. And I also loved the Kiss. Who didn't love Kiss in the 70s? I mean, a huge fan. So I started collecting the dolls and the masks and the magazines. And then that's when it kind of all started, with my real collecting. Um, and I remember going to Los Angeles for the first time and seeing some of the collectible stores back then, and I was just completely blown away. I'm thinking, oh my God, wow.
I know.
It's a bit sad now with Hollywood and all those kind of stores that they don't have those kind of stores
They're
anymore.
gone. They're all gone. I mean, we used to go down to there's used to be like four or five collectible
Yep.
shops that you could buy photos. They would have other stuff. There was Star World. There was another really amazing photography place. There was Hollywood Books and Posters, and I think Edmonds is
I've
the only one left on the strip. And so, yeah, all of those that all
that
disappeared
kind
when
of
eBay started
yeah,
going and people were selling
yeah. As soon
internationally.
as eBay came around, all those stores kind of shut, and we kind of had collectible stores here in Melbourne too, in Australia. But they've all disappeared because of eBay, which sort of breaks my heart because I used to love going into the store and just having a look, which was a lot of fun for me. Whereas now everything's just done online now, it defeats the purpose, I guess, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, the hunt. You're not hunting for it. You're not,
You're not hunting. And when
hunting
you
and
find that,
gathering your
yeah,
collectibles. Yes.
and when you find that elusive item, the heart starts beating quite rapidly, let me tell you. I'm sure that's happened to you too, Mike, with your
Oh
Charlie's Angels
yes. Yes, yes, of
collections.
course. And then of course
I,
on eBay
I
you
know what
look
that
to the
means.
left at the price and you're like,
Oh my God,
okay,
can I afford this? But yeah, I know. I won't eat for a week, but I need to have that item.
yes.
I totally understand. Yeah. When you're a passionate collector like I am, and yeah, you'd do anything just to have that item. So I get it. I really do.
Wow. I, on the other hand, will not give up food for a Charlie's Angels walkie-talkie,
Well,
which
there
I'm
you
still
go.
looking for.
Oh, are you?
So
Well, there you go.
so let's just jump into some questions. What is your prize collection item or one thing that you love more than anything that you
Can I
couldn't
show
live without?
can I show you maybe one or two things? Would that be okay?
Yes, show it. Show it. That's what we were here for.
My absolute favorite is my Partridge Family toy bus. That to me is the most amazing collectible. It's got the little
Uh-huh.
figures too.
I'm looking at it right
It's
now. I'm looking at it.
it's just really cute.
Now, was that made in the United States or was that
No,
international someplace?
that was made in the United States, but apparently we did get it at a few toy stores here. But I've also heard there was a Partridge Family toy bus in New Zealand. And New Zealand was a very small country. Apparently, there was a small wooden bus made. I've never seen one before, but two people have told me it does exist because we've seen it, but I've never been able to find one. So,
Hmm.
but this is just, I would have to say, this is probably my absolute ultimate collectible item. I love it.
Yeah. Now,
And I
now,
think
now,
in
do they bounce up and down when you play with it, or do they sing, or do they just it just goes
no,
back
they
and forth?
don't sing, but it's got the door and it's got the little figures inside too, which is really cute. I just love the figures of Shirley and David and just everyone. I shouldn't say David, it's actually Keith Partridge and Laurie and Danny and Chris and Tracy. So I absolutely love it. But I think many, many years ago, this was going for almost $2,000 to buy. So really, really sought after.
Wow.
And it still is today. As I said, that's one of my favorites. And another favorite of mine, which I have to show, I have David's dungarees that he wore in concert.
Wow.
There you go. It's an amazing, amazing, amazing costume. If you can see that, let me see. So yeah, this would have to be one of my prized possessions too, because many years ago, David was selling a lot of his costumes. This costume was actually stolen back in 1974
Uh-huh.
uh, by one of the bodyguards in the UK.
I was
And
gonna say, where were you? Okay, go ahead.
yeah, and it was actually given to a woman whose daughter was on a wheelchair, but she was a huge David Cassidy fan. And back then, I think she would have paid about £50 for it, which would have been a lot of money for 1974. So many years ago, this woman put this up on eBay, but she didn't have a photo up. So I wasn't sure, was it real? Was it not real? And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to bid for it anyway. And I end up winning it. And then literally she sent me a photo like a couple of days later. Remember, like phones only had 1 megapixel back then, so they weren't that clear
Fine.
compared to today's. Yeah. And so when she sent me the photo, I freaked out because I thought, oh my God, it's the real deal. Because I'm going to show you why it's the real deal, because I've actually got David wearing it on this poster from the UK. So that's the actual poster from 1974. So I've actually got the real costume, and
That's
I'm absolutely thrilled with it.
now
So
have you first off, have you met David and have you
I
discussed
have.
his outfit?
I have. I've met David many times because I used to run his Australian fan club with my friend Philip
What?
in Sydney. I did, yeah. So I got to meet his mum, and we're talking his real mum, not Shirley, but his real mum, Evelyn Ward. And each time I'd go to Los Angeles, she would pick me up from the hotel and she'd take me to a nice restaurant and she would take me out and she would just, she wouldn't let me pay for anything either. She was a cheeky woman, Evelyn, but I loved it a bit. And we became really, really good friends. And so I got to meet David through Evelyn. She arranged it all when I went to Las Vegas many years ago to see FX. And
Wow.
that was an amazing show. I think I arrived in Los Angeles and we literally flew to Las Vegas. And I think we saw two performances. I was an absolute wreck. But of course, I got to meet David then, and I got to meet him the next day too, which was even more special because when I met him, I forgot to take my video camera out to say, "Can you please say big hello to my friend Philip, whom I'm running the fan club with?" And I completely forgot to do that. And the next day in Las Vegas, I called his PR person and I said, "Look, could I hand over my video to you so you could just take a quick footage?" And she said to me, "No, David would love to see you again." And I was just completely blown away.
Uh,
So yeah, I got to see David again. And when he came to Melbourne too in 2002 for a concert tour all over Australia, because he hadn't been here for 28 years. So it's been a really, really long time. So I got to spend quite a bit of time with him then too and just chat. And he signed a lot of my old posters and things. And I think David knew what a big collector I was. Always sort of have been. So, and this is one of my other favorites, which I'd love to
yes.
show you. This
Oh
is
yeah.
from Australia. this was taken from our newspaper, The Herald, and it's to promote the Partridge Family TV show, which was on Monday to Friday at 7 p.m. And don't forget, it was in black and white back then. But this
What
was a
was up with Australia in black and white? My
what was
goodness.
that? I know, tell me about it. So
That's a
this
beautiful poster.
it's a beautiful poster. It's just one of my favorites. And let me see, what else have I got here to show you? This is a cardboard standee for the Partridge Family.
Oh, nice.
There you go. It's quite big. I need to probably get this framed because it's a beautiful poster. It's quite thick. And the other one that I have too, which is one of my favorites, but as I said, these are worth a fortune today. You can't really buy them. It's the Cherish stand. So yeah, I love this. This cost an absolute arm and a leg, but we won't discuss that much. But we won't even go there.
I understand. So back to the outfit. Did you tell David you had the outfit? Does he know?
I think he probably knew back then that I had it, so he was actually quite pleased. But then David started selling off a lot of his costumes too back
Yes.
then to raise money for a lot of different things that he was involved with back then, especially Alzheimer's, because his mum died from that disease, from dementia. So he was trying to raise money then. But I think he knew that I did have it. There's a few of us out there who've got the costume, but
Okay.
I absolutely love it. It's just one of my favorites. And I've recently had friends coming from Perth, Australia, as well as Canberra, just to see me and my collection too.
Oh,
And
nice.
and they've absolutely loved the actual costume. You know, one of my friends in Perth, she was just quite, when she saw it, she almost started crying because David actually wore this in 1974 in Perth, Australia. So he wore this costume in Japan, New Zealand, and apparently is somewhere in I think Europe somewhere in 1974 on his world tour. So I'm actually really, really thrilled to have that. So there you go.
That's a great story. Did you buy anything when he was I'm sure you did when he was auctioning stuff off?
I think I probably did. Oh, God, I can't remember because it's been so long ago. But a lot of things went for thousands and thousands of
Oh yeah.
dollars. You can just imagine. And the way the world is at the moment, I don't think many of us can afford a lot of things at the moment. At the moment, do you know what I mean? So
I know
it's
what you mean. So
hard.
I'm just looking behind you. You have pictures of David. Who is with David in the black and white pictures behind you?
In the black and white pictures, be
On the wall. It's on the
you
wall.
meant well, it's with Susan Day.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know if you could see them like that. It's David and Susan. Yeah. So, and some of the other things that I've got, I wanted to show you. This is like really cool. It's like a big flag from one of his concerts in 1973, 74 in the UK, which I thought was really cool. So, and another one that I've got here too, which I'll show you. It's kind of a material one too. It's quite big. Isn't it amazing?
Oh, we love you, David. Yes, we
Oh,
do.
Dave.
We love you, David.
We do. And then there's also like I've got a few episodes on reel to reel for the Partridge Family. I don't know which episode this is, but I've got two of these. Apparently, these were shown on a cruise ship back in the early 70s. So, and these are in black and white, they're not in color. So there you go. So America did have some black and white too, but on the ship.
I was
So I
just
thought,
gonna say something funny like those might be in color.
well, there you go. So yeah, look,
That's
it's been a passion of mine for a very, very long time now, and it's nice to know that there's still fans out there that love this and appreciate this. I think nostalgia is quite a big thing at the moment with everyone. And look, the way the world's going at the moment, Mike, and I don't have to tell you that it's a bit sad at the moment. So I think we kind of tend to look back with nostalgia and we think, God, they were really good days back then.
yes,
So I
you're right.
love all. I think so too.
Well, and the Partridge Family, Charlie's Angels, all the 70s, early 80s was just I feel like the golden time of TV. We didn't have
It
internet,
was.
we didn't have crazy. You can binge anything, you can watch 5,000 things on 5,000 channels. So I mean, I think it was definitely a nicer, quieter time for us. And it was more of an
It
experience
was.
with the culture of everyone because everyone
Absolutely.
was kind of watching the same thing.
They were. You know,
So
they were. That's the special thing. It doesn't matter where you lived in the world, whether you lived in Los Angeles or Melbourne or New Zealand or anywhere in the world, we all grew up with kind of the same things. That's what makes it sort of very special.
yeah,
And then you get to meet all these wonderful people from all over the world because back then when I started collecting, and this is the truth with everybody. Everybody thought, well, I'm the only fan here. I don't think there's any other fans out there. But little do you know that there were so many fans out there. And because now through social media and everything else, fans are just coming out of the woodwork now thinking, oh my God, I was a huge fan. I
yes,
used to love David Cassidy. I used to love the Partridge Family, or I used to love Charlie's Angels. Do you know what I mean? It's
yes.
just those things, and it's
And those
true.
bastards are the one buying the stuff I want.
I know. How dare they? But I have to show you a little weird item that I've got
Yes,
too.
that was my next question. What's the wackiest story of a piece or something in your collection? Show it to me. What is that?
This is kind of like a little plastic lenticular thing with David's face on it. It's in black and white, and I've also got it in color. I've never seen something like this before. And I bought this probably early 80s. I went to one of those collectible stores in town and it was downstairs. And I don't know how I saw this, but I did. And the heart starts pumping away. I'm thinking, oh my God, I don't have this. And I said to the gentleman, I would love this, please. And I said, how much? He said, $2. I said,
Ah,
I'll give you five.
I know.
I was just so pleased. It's kind of like a really strange piece, but I love it because it's a piece of memorabilia though. So, um, with memorabilia, because David and the Partridge Family were huge the world over, each country had their own merchandise. Does that make sense, Mike?
Oh
As I'm
yeah,
sure
totally.
you can imagine with your Charlie's Angels collection too. So, there were like comic books, there was literally everything you can name on David Cassidy. And another thing that I absolutely loved, and I'm going to show you, hold on. I had this specially made for me.
Yes.
It's a David Cassidy doll. Isn't that amazing? I love it. Absolutely love it.
That is amazing. I was going to say something really racy, but I'm not going to.
You can if you want, but we won't be cheeky on this show. So yeah, really happy to have
Pants
this too.
coming off, or the pants coming. No, I'm sorry. This
Yeah,
is an
so
all clean show. My mom's probably watching it right now. Mom, I didn't mean that's not me. Oh, is he waving?
he's waving. See, he's waving to you. So I was really
Oh,
thrilled to get this done too. So, and there's also things like from different tour programs from all over the world. There's tour programs from Japan, from Australia, from the US. And I remember his mum, Evelyn, giving me a tour program from his 1972 Madison Square Gardens concert. And I was absolutely beside myself, absolutely thrilled. So I was really lucky enough to know David's mum. Because one cute story I'm going to tell you, uh, Evelyn took David to get a reading on his palm. And she looked at his palm and she said, within the next year or two, your name is going to be global. And you can imagine what David said to this woman, you're full of crap. Never going to happen. And what happens, like literally a year later, David became a global superstar. By 1972, he was the biggest teen idol in America. By 1973, he was the world's biggest pop star. And by 1974, yeah, huge all over the world. He toured all over the world and he played to some of the biggest venues in the world. Had it not probably been for the Partridge Family, David may have not been the singer that he was, if that makes sense. So that was kind of like that really took him to massive heights back in those days with the
yeah,
Partridge Family. So and
yeah. That's
there's still many of us fans around, which is lovely, you know. It's not like the early 80s when we started collecting thinking I'm the only person who loves this stuff. Not true.
that's
Not
true.
true.
That's true. Are they going to be releasing some of his music on CD, new releasing anything like
Uh,
that? You know?
they have released a lot of things, but unfortunately, David had a few issues with Sony. I think he tried to sue them many years ago. So as it goes, it's been 7 years now, never since he passed away. Nothing's been released, which has been really disappointing to us fans. because there's so much unreleased music out there for the Partridge Family, for David Cassidy. We'd love a box set for the Partridge Family. We'd love a box set for David Cassidy too. And not
Yeah.
only a lot of his concerts from the early 70s were all filmed and nothing's ever seen the light of day. And you can
Wow.
imagine fans would absolutely love to have like a piece of footage. You know, a lot of his Australian shows back in 74 were all filmed. His Madison Square Gardens concert was filmed, including many in America in 1971/1972, and many were filmed in Europe too, back in 73, 74. So we fans would absolutely love um to get all that one day, but so we don't know what's going on. If after he sued Sony, it's all sort of gone a bit quiet, so nothing's kind of been released, which has been really disappointing. But you can imagine people trying to find things on eBay now. Everything's just gone up in price, and people want it. People want that old vintage item that they had when they were growing up. A lot of people threw away things thinking this is not going to mean anything to me. But as I said, nostalgia takes over and you think, I had that and I would love to find that again. Unfortunately, you're just going to have to pay for it today. And that's just how it is.
That
But
is so true.
it's true, isn't it? But the one item that I would love to have that I don't have is there's a David Cassidy Halloween costume that was
What?
released back in 73, 72, 73. So I don't
Oh,
have that. My friend Lisa does have that in Los Angeles.
oh,
So
Lisa, what is her last name?
Lisa Sutton, yeah, she's a
Yes,
good
I know
friend.
Lisa Sutton. Yes.
Yeah, she would have that, but that's very, very hard to find today. So
Really?
I'm always looking because you never know.
Oh, I
Someone
know.
someone out there might have that elusive item that nobody seems to have. So
My walkie-talkies.
so is that the only thing that you're missing?
No, watch radio in a box. I'm missing the Cheryl Ladd the Cheryl Ladd skateboard, the Joe skateboard. There's a bunch of stuff, but usually the stuff I need are going for $2,100, etc. And I'm like, no way.
That's just
But
too expensive. But you've got such a huge collection too, Mike, and I
yeah,
hope next time I come to LA I can get to see it because I would love to see your collection. Absolutely.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I just had people over here from Scarecrow and Mrs. King fans to see the
Oh,
collection.
wow.
Uh,
So the only thing is I'm running out of room. I'm
you and
running
me
out.
both. You and me
Yeah,
both.
yeah. Being a collector is really hard, not only on the pocket, but also where do you store all these
I
things, you
know.
know?
But sometimes, I mean, share a story. 2 weekends ago, a friend of mine was at a swap meet, took a
Yep.
picture of all these Farrah Fawcett shampoo and colognes and
Yep.
Charlie's Angels mugs. They were selling them for $10 a piece.
Oh my
And I was
God.
like, buy them all for me, which you
Oh,
get.
oh, oh, I'm so glad. Yeah.
And
That's what it's really good to have friends all over the world that will look out for you. If they find something that they think you don't have it, I will buy that. I do that for friends too. I've always done that. I think that's important because that's the way you can find things today with people.
yeah, exactly. So what in your collection, what was the most expensive thing you bought?
Probably the record cabinet. That
The-
sort of cost a bit of a fortune. And the time I bought it, our dollar was 50 cents to the dollar.
Wow.
So all I'm going to say is a couple of $1,000, and that's all I'm going to tell you. Yeah, it cost an absolute
Nice.
fortune. But yeah. So
And
there
is
you
there, I don't know if you had mentioned it. I'm so in awe of your collection. Something that you are searching for other than well, you just said the Halloween costume. I don't
Yeah,
listen to that.
I would love to get some footage of David. And there's also the Screen Gems records, which all the actors received that to
Oh,
practice. So they'd go home, practice on that. And then they'd go and film the Partridge Family TV episode with the song. Now, these records contained a lot of the unreleased music and also a lot of the TV versions, which are quite different to the actual CDs we have, if
yeah.
that makes any sense.
Makes total
And
sense.
I think the first Screen Gem record went on eBay a few months ago, and I'm not kidding, it went to close to 10,000 US dollars. So if people tell me there's no interest out there, I'm thinking, oh my God, please, I think Sony need to, wake up.
Sony needs to do something with it, obviously. It was
Somebody
probably
has got to
Sean. Sean probably bought it.
Yeah, well, if someone bought it for 10,000 US dollars, there's got to be interest out there because
Yes.
people are buying big stuff. And I'm thinking, how do people afford these kind of things? Because they are quite expensive. It just goes to show you that they're very sought after. And that's why a record company like Sony should just step up and just let's release all this stuff for the fans out there who would love to have these in
Yeah.
their collections. We're all getting older now. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I know. I know.
What
And
be- what what becomes of our collections in the future? I've got no idea. I've got no idea. I can't exactly see my nephews or niece appreciating any of this kind of stuff. And I get that.
yeah,
It was just a different era for us. But I'm hoping maybe one day I can preserve all this stuff in a museum somewhere or do something with it, which would be really nice to at least to carry the
absolutely.
name.
Exactly. But with
Yeah.
now streaming, that's the one big thing. People are especially with Pluto TV and other channels like that that are streaming these shows. Is the show being shown anywhere currently? Do you know?
It's been shown quite a few places. I think still in the States. We haven't had anything here for a while. It's been a few years for us, but obviously we own it on DVD today, which is really good. So don't get rid of your DVD copies, people, because physical media is still important today. People need to remember that. Because I know a lot of people have got streaming services out there, but they don't have all your TV shows that you want, and they don't have that elusive movie that you might want. So I always say to people, keep your physical media very important to keep, especially on Blu-ray today and DVD, because I think DVDs are starting to disappear now too. So,
Oh,
and it's not as a streaming service is going to show your favorite movie. You have to have that copy so you can put it on yourself, if that makes sense too.
that's
So,
true. Many stuff has not they have not found their way to like Farrah Fawcett's Somebody Kill Her Husband is now coming back out because of Shout TV. Shout TV has been doing a lot of cool
yes.
retro
Which is
stuff.
really, really good. I love the retro stuff that they put out. So maybe we'll get the Partridge Family on Blu-ray one day. You never know.
It's
That
not
would
on
be
Blu-ray yet? Oh my
no.
gosh.
Well,
Oh,
Charlie's Angels
it's
obviously is because I've got
yes.
that.
Well, Partridge was a Sony picture, wasn't it?
It was. Yep. So yeah, well
Sony
that
is not.
no,
It would be different if that was with maybe Paramount or CBS because that stuff would be out already because they know
they do.
Paramount and CBS knows the power of fanism and
They
fan wants to have. I
do.
mean, with Charlie's Angels, I was a huge part of them coming on DVD and working with them with the right stuff on the
Oh, I'm
product.
so glad to hear that. Yeah.
But, and thank goodness for Mill Creek because they brought it out on Blu-ray.
Blu-ray. Yeah, which is
They did
perfect. We
okay with the packaging. I didn't work with them on that packaging. I did work with Sony with their full collection release, which is really cool because
Yeah,
I
we got that released here too on DVD, the whole DVD box set for Charlie's Angels, but we just didn't get it on Blu-ray here.
yeah. But that said, hopefully it will all come out. It's what's new is coming back. I mean, I can't believe people are
Fingers
paying
crossed.
$30 for records now. Okay, I think it's ridiculous.
$30. Should I tell you the latest Taylor Swift's album here? $109. So don't complain.
Oh, but that
I'm
has like 38 songs on it. I don't know why you're complaining.
No, but our records are actually quite expensive here compared to the records we were buying back then. I mean, all the new releases here, they're all literally import from Germany. So you're looking at about 75, 85, $90 for just one record. Now, for you to buy 10 of your most favorite albums, you're looking at least $1,000. That's a lot of money.
I know. And even the second hands are going higher. The second hand
They
stores.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people still want even the old records. A lot of people collect the old vinyls compared to the new vinyl. Sometimes the new vinyl isn't as good as the original vinyl. So
Yeah.
more to
All the
collect
yeah, the Japan pressings from years
are
back
amazing.
are the best.
Amazing.
They are the
Amazing.
best. I have
Yeah.
all the Cheryl ads and they're really, really well done.
Absolutely amazing. Yes.
So do you have any other story meeting one of your idols or your fans that you want to share with us?
No, it was just to me, my biggest thrill in this life was meeting David Cassidy. And I was really happy to meet him several times and also to meet his mum.
Yeah.
That just has meant the world to me because I used to call her and I used to send her parcels. I used to send her Tim Tams. Tim Tams are our favorite chocolate biscuits here. And she used to say to me, Jim, you're making me fat. You
Oh,
can't send those to me anymore because I'm getting really fat. And she used to laugh. And And they're the really fun things that I remember about David's mum, because she's passed away many years ago too. And they're the kind of all the good memories I have of David and his mum. And I'm so thankful that I got to meet all these people from all over the world. I have friendships for over 35 years because, as a pen pal, you'd start writing letters to people. There was no internet back then, so we were writing physical letters. And people don't do that anymore, which I think is a bit of a shame, because I think I like to receive a card from someone that's handwritten. And who does that anymore? Not many people, to be honest with you. So and I've been lucky, as I said, I've had a lot of people that I've known for over 35 years, and that's because of David Cassidy and the Partridge family, and just collecting and just enjoying the music. So that's my whole story.
Beautiful. Well, Jim, thank you for sharing your story, all your collections. I know people have been watching. I've posted all these lovely photos that we're not looking because you have all that beautiful stuff behind you, and that
Thank you.
huge David standee.
I love that. Yes,
That's
absolutely love
fantastic.
that. Yeah, absolutely. So it was, as I said, it's been such a thrill to talk to you today. And as I said, I don't know why we haven't caught up, but we will next time I come to Los Angeles. That goes without saying.
Absolutely. Jim, where can people find you online if they have that, you know,
Eh, Oh my
Halloween
God.
costume?
Oh, they can find me on Facebook under Demetrios Jim Salamanis, my Greek name. So yeah, they could find me anywhere. If anyone out there has got that elusive item, oh my God, please let me know. I would love to hear from you. And thank you for making that happen.
Of
And
course. I hope I do. Who
and
knows? Power of
and
me.
well, yeah, the power of you. And thank you for taking the time to chat to me today. I've absolutely enjoyed myself. I love it.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody out there, for watching. Please share us, like us. And if you have a collection you want to share with me, please DM me or email me. And let's look at your collection and have a slice of heaven. Wow, I just made that up. That was really good. Okay, I'm
I
going
love
to.
it. Good to
Jim, thank
talk
you
to
so
you
much.
today. Thank you too. Take care. Bye.
Bye.